communication at the Catholic University of Louvain in Belgium. And I will start my lecture position in the University of Lille in France, which are very close to Louvain-la-Neuve now as well tomorrow. So, and as you will see from my presentation, my research is highly interdisciplinary, combining communication and media-related disciplines, linguistics, data science, and to some extent psychology. I am not sure whether the interests will cross with your interest, maybe more or less methodology, but I hope it will be interesting for you. So my thesis was a part of a global 202CM project between the three countries, Belgium, France, and Norway. You probably heard already about this project from Andrea. The project itself was focused on identifying the obstacles or barriers to pro-environmental behaviors by applying different methods in linguistics, social psychology, anthropology, and communication. My part within this project was related to communication research. And you may see more information about the project itself just to get more information or to see our publications on the website mentioned here. For my part of the project, I, on the one side, examined different semiotic forms of individual and organizational discourses on climate change efforts in food, energy, and transport sectors, communicated in the Instagram posts by Belgian, French, and Norwegian opinion leaders between 2021 and 2022. The choice of the countries is very simple. It's because the part of the project, food, energy, and transport sectors are quite important for the sustainability transition. That's why the themes. And we wanted to see how different communication forms are communicated by individuals and influential individuals and organizations. And on the other side, we also addressed the audience's responses, as you may see on the right, to these messages or by analyzing comments to these posts. To conduct the project, I manually selected 120 Instagram accounts of both individuals and organizations or environmental opinion leaders, and automatically collected more than 20,000 posts and comments to them. You can see from this slide that the number of analyzed posts is decreased. This is due to the filtering and data cleaning processes needed to make the corpus homogeneous. For example, to cover a specific period of time, as for us it was 2021-22, or to select posts and comments for thematically focused case studies, in our case, food, energy, and transport related messages, or to delete both written comments. So that's why the number of the posts is decreased. And this, let's say, organizational or data organizational processes represent a huge interest for my research, as well as different limitations of working with such digitally obtained data. And I'm very interested in discussing these things. So to study all these data, I addressed the multimodality of the content posted on Instagram by investigating the images, like the visual content, and the elements within the images, the post's texts, and the comments to them. By the elements within the images, we mean different like visual icons and also text on image elements. It's just in short to get into some details of methodology. And I used lots of methods to study all these data. For example, to study the posts, I used an automated content analysis to select the posts regarding our main themes, food, energy, and transport. You may imagine like all these 10,000 or 20,000 of posts, they did not cover all the themes related to our research. So, and you cannot do it, you cannot label the posts manually. So we decided to do it automatically. So, and then there was a multimodal content analysis to investigate the different actions, responsible actors for climate change mitigation, obstacles for the sustainability transition, and environmental values represented in the posts. This allowed us to map different environmental discourses in the 3 countries. Then we conducted several case studies and used multimodal discourse analysis to investigate how the obstacles were represented in the posts, whether they were represented in visual, in verbal modes, by studying different like representations of colors, positions of specific elements, fonts, and others. And to complement these analyses, I used computer-assisted linguistic analysis to identify the patterns or markers of this obstacle discourse in the texts of the posts. So this method actually complemented qualitative observations and allowed us to quantify the results on one way or another. To investigate the comments, I used sentiment analysis, content analysis, and computer-assisted linguistic analysis. As for the posts, content analysis was used to identify the actions or different solutions proposed in the comments, actors responsible for the transition, obstacles and values discussed in the comments. And as in the posts, computer-assisted linguistic analysis was used to identify different patterns or markers within the comments. As about the sentiment analysis, we tested the idea that actually these obstacles can appear in the negatively labeled comments. And although we could not fully confirm this hypothesis, the result presents a kind of interesting background for future research on automated data analysis. Then some of the results of this work were already presented at the final conference of the project or were presented. I will just briefly resume some of them, considering the food sector, which was, by the way, the most popular theme in the analyzed posts, which is not a surprise. We don't pay our electricity bills or take public transport several times a day. But I hope we cook or we have meals at least several times a day. So that's why also I suppose it was the most popular theme in our data. The research also demonstrated that the most frequently mentioned actions in this sector were reducing food waste for Belgium, following vegetarian diets for France, and plant-based diets for Norway. As you may already see, the framing of the same actions is sometimes different in our target countries. Other proposed actions like agroecology, which was mentioned by Belgian and French opinion leaders, or fixing food, were not clearly specified in the analyzed posts. By not clearly, I mean the opinion leaders mention it without precising what it is, which might lead to the confusion by the audiences. And this confusion was further expressed in the comments as well. The major obstacles to the transition in this sector included lack of money to follow vegetarian diets or to buy organic products, health-related issues with following vegetarian diets, problems related to the organization of the action, like having lack of time, or the necessity to have more choice or vegetarian options, which was particularly important for the French for the French corpus. All these obstacles were predominantly linked to the egoistic and hedonic values in psychology research, like having enough money to participate in the action, or the importance of having tasty food, for example, as for about hedonic values. These and the other results are published in my thesis on the university websites, and also there are some publications which are already published. For example, in this article, I discuss how we created the corpus for this research by reviewing different ways that already exist to create such visual or multimodal corpora. And also I discuss here how these types of different visual corpora can be used for climate communication research, and which are the limitations of each strategy or method for creating visual corpora. That is a part of my thesis, which has already been published. A forthcoming book chapter covers the differences between different types of influential individuals, like climate change influencers, eco-influencers, green influencers. You heard about all these names. Here I discuss the differences between these notions and propose different ways on identifying them. Some of them were used for this research. Hopefully next year with Andrea, we will publish our case studies on Instagram communication about vegetarian diets in France. These were this was the particular case study about meat and versus vegetarian food consumption. And I guess these are the publications that has already been in in the process. Besides this thesis work, we had some side projects which were focused on sustainability education for higher institutions. It's like more or less how we implement different information about sustainability related issues in teaching subjects which are not directly related to sustainability. For example, here it was the case study of teaching English and communication related subjects which are not related to sustainability, but you implement some sustainability issues and how students perceive this sustainability issue within this class. So that was a very interesting study. And besides, with Andrea as well, we also conducted a study on environmental activism, and we hope it will be published soon, I hope in January. So just for some ideas for master classes, so besides all these climate communication related disciplines and methodology for analyzing these data, I'm developing research in data science on creating, collecting, maybe adapting, like cleaning the data and analyzing different types of data from social media and other digital sources. So these are just some subjects that I'm really interested in discussing and transmitting maybe via different master classes. And I guess that's all. I will be very happy to discuss the questions with you.